Okay, so I think we'll make a start. So my name is Jess and I'm a member of the School of Management Employability team. Lovely to meet you all via Zoom. Obviously, I know this isn't quite kind of what we were expecting. If anybody does want to put their cameras on, feel free to do that. That's absolutely fine. Just going to do a quick introduction to the School of Management Employability team, because this may be the first time that you are coming across us. So we have a team of 4 employability consultants, so careers advisors, who can help you with any of your job searching. So whether that's for part-time jobs, placements, graduate roles, internships, we're here to help you with all kind of your job searching needs. We also have part of the team which is focused on year in industry and placements. So if you have a year in industry as part of your course, or you're thinking about doing one, we've got a team that will sort of help you with that and keep in touch with you while you are on placement. So there is a lot of support available to you. We're going to have one of our students, Safa, talking later on in the presentation about her experiences as well. So that will give you a bit more of an insight from a student perspective. But yes, we will make a start. If anybody has any questions as we go along, again, feel free to put questions in the chat. My colleague Hannah is here as well, so she will be answering those as we go along. So first, big welcome to the workshop. Thank you for coming along. So today we are going to cover how to make the most of your time in the UK as an international student. We'll be going over the application process in the UK because it may be different to kind of your home countries. We'll be thinking about what employers in the UK are looking for. I'll also be introducing you to a really useful resource for international students, which is called a website called Studentcircus. We'll be going through kind of opportunities, and then, as I said at the end, we'll have some students talking about their experiences of being an international student as well. So hopefully that will give you a nice overview. As I mentioned in the last webinar, if you were in it, we're available sort of Monday to Friday 9 to 5, so I'm going through this session now, but you're more than welcome to book an appointment with one of the team if you want to at a later date. This is all being recorded as well, so you can access it later as well. So that's what we're going to cover today. Okay, so how to make the most of your time at Swansea University. So obviously there has been kind of a lot of research done around sort of international students and how to kind of make yourself stand out whilst you are at university. And from speaking to a lot of employers, it's a little bit more tricky. You kind of need to do a little bit more. So I would say it's great that you're engaging in this workshop at the very beginning of your course. And if you can be as sort of proactive as possible as you go through your course, that's really going to make you sort of stand out to an employer. So here are just a few sort of suggestions of things that you can get involved in. And as I said, I think if you can start this in your first year of your undergrad or your masters, you can get ahead of the game. I think it's quite difficult if you get to the end of your final year and you've just done your course, you've just focused on your studies. There's not as much you can actually bring into your job applications or your interviews to show that you actually sort of immersed yourself into life in the UK. You stepped outside of your comfort zone, out of your group of students from potentially the same home country. So I think it is just showing that you are sort of proactive and that you can sort of get involved in other things. So as an international student, you can get a part-time job alongside your course. This has to be a maximum of 20 hours per week, but lots of students do this. Obviously, you may think, oh, but why should I get a part-time job, because is that relevant to my course? even if the part-time job is not related to your course, it's still a really, really good thing to do, because you can develop lots of transferable skills, you can meet people, you can enhance your language skills. So if English isn't your first language, working in, you know, a shop or a restaurant or wherever in Swansea is really going to help you sort of develop those skills. So that's one option. And again, you know, we can help you apply for those part-time jobs and find those part-time jobs. Volunteering is a great way to sort of develop your skills and your confidence as well as kind of getting involved in Swansea's community, so outside of the university. We've got a charity within Swansea University called Discovery, and they are really, really kind of amazing and really good organisation to get involved with. So what I would do is after this, have a look, let's kind of type in Discovery into the Swansea University website or look on LinkedIn, and you will see kind of instructions on how you can sign up to become a volunteer. They have lots of projects that you can get involved with, and you can either do sort of one-off volunteering and just try it out, or you can get involved in projects on a regular basis, helping out in the community. You can do things to do with like the environment, helping young people, helping the elderly, whatever it is that interests you. Great way to meet new people. So if you are an international student and you don't know many people, volunteering is a really good way to kind of meet new people, sort of immerse yourself in Swansea, but also an excellent thing to put on your CV. And if you're speaking to an employer and they see that you've actually given up however many hours, however months of your degree to kind of help people out and to volunteer, that shows something about you as a person. And it also shows that where you could have just stayed at home and done nothing, you've actually given up your time to kind of put yourself out there, meet people, and sort of give your time to a cause, which does show something about you as a person. It shows that you are proactive. So I would really encourage you to look at the Discovery website and consider signing up to become a volunteer while you are at Swansea. Another way to make the most of your time is through a society. So again, obviously this year is a little bit different. However, societies are still running, still a great way to meet people. So, I know it's your first week here, it's potentially a little bit daunting. Have a look at the Swansea University Student Union page and look at all of the societies that are there. There's a society for everyone. There's so many, dancing societies, language societies, baking, there's all sorts. So whatever your interest is, there's probably going to be something there that does kind of speak to you, spark your interest. And again, great way to meet new people. You can get involved in lots of activities, and another good thing for your CV, because it shows that you're not just sitting at home and doing nothing. Networking. So again, this is if you haven't come across this before, this is sort of building professional connections, meeting people, attending webinars, speaking to employers, and using LinkedIn. I've just done a session on this, so I can see a few of you who were potentially in that already, so you'll know all about this. If you don't know what networking is, it is just kind of, putting yourself out there, making those connections. You never know what can come from a networking connection. It could be that you speak to somebody at a webinar or at an event, you make a really good first impression, and they say, oh, actually, we've actually got a work experience opening coming up within our company. Would you like to work one day a week with us? That could be something that you add onto your CV then. And then obviously internships, year in industry. So these are kind of opportunities you can get involved with throughout your course. Lots of students do summer internships. A lot of students choose to do the year in industry as well, which is where you go and work for a company instead of completing the third year of your course, and then you come back for your final year after that. Some of you may have chosen that as an option. Safa, who again is going to speak at the end, is an international student who has done a year in industry placement. So she will tell you all about her experience of that at the end. So I mentioned all of the kind of ways, well, I mentioned a few ways in which you can meet people, enhance your skills, get involved in activities, which I would really kind of recommend that you do to find out about these opportunities and to keep updated. We have a SOM Careers Facebook group, and we have a new Instagram account, which is at SOM Employability. So on there, we'll keep you updated with any sort of company events. For example, an event I'm going to talk about in a minute on Friday. All of the details are posted on both of these groups. So it's a really good way of thinking, oh, actually, I've got a bit of free time this week. You know, I'll go on the SOM Careers Facebook group and I'll check if there is any kind of webinars or any events going on that I can go. And again, that may lead to something. So definitely worth having a look at. So the event that I just mentioned, we've got a virtual Centenary Careers Fair this Friday. So it's 11 till 4. It's worth going along to this, talking to representatives from a number of companies. As an international student, it's also a great opportunity to ask companies if they sponsor international students, because obviously, as an international student, when you finish your degree, you have to find a graduate role in the UK from a company that sponsors international students. So it's worth going along and asking that question and finding out whether the company has a sponsor license, because obviously that would be a company that you potentially want to look into applying for after you have, well, when you get to your sort of final year. Okay, so we mentioned this already, so I'll just touch on this. So obviously, as an employability team, we are operating virtually. So you can click, we'll put a link in the chat where you can book an appointment via Zoom, and we can have one-to-one appointments via that. So although you can't pop in and see us as much as kind of we used to, you can book a Zoom appointment and we can start helping you with your plan throughout your first, your second and your third year. So don't feel like it's too early to get in touch with us. So I'm going to go over sort of the UK application process, because I know this varies from country to country. If you are applying for a placement or a graduate job, you need to start thinking about it in sort of September of the year before. So if I was in my final year now and I was applying for graduate jobs when I finished, I would need to start searching now for those jobs. So just remember that you can't leave it to the last minute in the UK. It really is kind of quite a long process. So it really, really helps to be ahead of the game, prepared, have kind of some work experience and volunteering under your belt as soon as you can. Have your CV in order, maybe you have that checked by one of the team. Have you got your LinkedIn? Make sure that you are sort of as prepared as you possibly can be so that you are ready for the application process. So if we base this on if you were going for a graduate job, companies vary with their application processes, but a lot of the larger companies who do graduate schemes will start opening up their vacancies at this time of year. So this is a sort of a typical application process, but as I said, it can differ from company to company. A company may want you to submit a CV, which is there's an example of one here, and a cover letter, which is a short letter to sort of introduce your CV. You can do sort of an online version of your CV on LinkedIn. They may want you to also do an application form where you answer some questions about, your strengths or why you want to work for the company, or where they ask you about your achievements. So these can be kind of short paragraphs that they ask you to fill in. They may also want you to do some tests. So these can be in the form of sort of numerical, verbal, situational tests. And there's a really good website called Assessment Day where you can actually go and practice these tests. There's lots of free tests on there, so maybe have a look at that. The company then usually invites you for an interview, which may be combined with an assessment centre. Obviously, it's much more likely that these are going to be virtual, especially in the next year or so. So we can help you with how to interview, in a Zoom setting as well as sort of face-to-face. We've also got a new platform called Shortlist Me, which is useful because you can actually go on that and practice your interview techniques, and you actually get a bit of a summary with feedback on how you could have improved on specific interview answers. So that's another useful resource that we have for you. Assessment centres, again, more likely to be virtual. Usually this is where applicants are sort of all invited to a day at a company, and this may consist of a bit of a presentation from the company. They may ask you to do some group work, they may ask you to do a presentation, and they may have an interview included in that as well. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of stages. So typically a company will ask you to do CV, cover letter, application forms sort of between now and November, December, and then after Christmas they may start sorting out interviews and assessment centres, and then students may have their job actually confirmed around sort of March, April, May, and then obviously you're leaving uni and you know that you've got the job. As I said, that can be different from company to company. If you are going to a smaller company, they may not have as many stages. They may just want sort of a CV and cover letter and an interview that you can sort of look at after Christmas time. However, I think prepare for starting your search as soon as possible. So if you're looking for a year in industry, that needs to be the start of your second year. If you're looking for a graduate job, that needs to be the start of your third year. If you're looking for a summer internship for next summer, I would be starting to look now as well, because a lot of companies start advertising those as well. And companies do insight days. Again, these are more likely to be virtual, and those will be posted sort of October, November onwards. So I hope I haven't sort of overwhelmed you there, but the UK application process can be quite long, and we can go through that with you on a one-to-one meeting in more detail. But the message is try and be as prepared as possible for that. So don't leave it till the last minute. And then also, because of the sort of sponsor situation in the UK where you have to find a company that sponsors you, I think as an international student, you need to have your plan B sorted as well. So don't just rely on the fact that you're going to get a job in the UK. Have a think about, okay, so if I didn't get a job in the UK, what is my plan B? Can you be networking? Can you be thinking about opportunities in your home country as well? So I would be thinking about both of those aspects when you're doing your job search. But also think about, okay, so you are an international student, what can you use from that will make you stand out in the UK application process? So, for example, you may have travelled from a country that's completely different to the UK, so you could potentially bring a fresh perspective to that company. If all the other applicants are from the UK or Wales, they may kind of have a different perspective on issues than you. So you can bring that fresh perspective, different ideas that will actually help develop the company. So think about how you can sell yourself as an international student, because that's what employers in the UK are expecting. They're expecting for you to be able to confidently talk about why you deserve that job and sort of tell a story about why you meet their requirements. So I think if you can think about now, what are your strengths generally, but also as an international student, that will help you with your applications. So another few things I've listed there, you've got cultural awareness. You haven't just lived in one country all your life, you've actually sort of moved on your own to another country, which is a really brave thing to do. It's, that's a strength in itself that you've made that decision to kind of move to another country. So that's cultural awareness. Self-sufficiency, obviously you've got that independence. Also language skills. So there may be that you think of a company that is in the UK that actually works with companies in your home country. You could potentially bring in the strength that is you've got those language skills that can help them do business. So have a think about that as well. And think about, okay, so how can a UK degree help me as well? So compared to if you are thinking about going back to your home country, these are a few things that you can take after completing your UK degree. So you've got that language fluency, and this is why I would say that you should be sort of immersing yourself in volunteering and work experience as much as possible, because that's really going to develop these skills, because you're going to gain confidence, you're going to get that work experience, cultural awareness of working in the UK, you can put that on your CV, and a lot of employers abroad like the fact that people have worked in the UK, so that's, you know, a great thing to add. You've got the open-mindedness, because again, you've worked in another country, as well as just generally, you're obviously an independent and motivated person because you've made the decision to study in another country and gain work experience. So think about what you can gain from this experience before it whizzes by quickly. So think about a bit of a plan before you start. So I'm just going to introduce this website here. So it's called Studentcircus.com, and you can actually sign into it with your Swansea University student number and password. So I'd urge you all to have a little look at that. This is what it looks like when you click into it. This website was created to help all international students, because obviously when you're searching for jobs in sort of the big websites like maybe Target Jobs, Prospects, it's not always clear which companies sponsor international students. So this website was set up to, it just includes the companies and the vacancies that sponsor international students. So you can put in all of your filters, your locations, and you can find, okay, I could apply to this company because I know that they've already got a sponsor license. So worth having a look at that. Again, even if you're not looking for grad jobs, you're in industry yet, it's kind of worth getting to know what companies do sponsor international students. So that's a useful resource there. I'm now going to stop talking because I feel like I've talked quite a lot. And I'm going to hand over to Safa Salim, who is on the call here. I'll leave this up, Safa. Do you have slides or?
No, I'm just going to speak.
Brilliant. Okay, so Safa's going to talk to you about her experience of being an international student. She's just come back from her year in industry, and she's heading into her final year. So we'll just hear from her for a minute.
Hi, my name is Safa, and I just finished my year in industry. I worked in the media suite within the School of Management, so I stayed in Swansea last year. So yeah, I'm just here to talk to you about my experience throughout the whole year, basically. So I'd start off with, in terms of looking for placements, when you start looking for placements, keep an open mind. Don't be scared to apply for different kinds of jobs, even if you don't have any sort of experience. Keep an open mind and apply for everything, because you never know, if you do try a job that you're not interested in, you might actually like it. So my placement was mainly a media placement, and I had no experience in this field before, but turns out it was something I actually liked. So the first thing, keep an open mind and don't be scared to actually step outside your comfort zone, because you have taken the first step by coming into a whole different country anyway. So to step up your comfort zone. I'd say in terms of looking for jobs, the employability team has a whole spreadsheet of jobs that they keep putting on. So I would say keep a look at that and apply for whatever you find interesting. There are so many other places like Rate My Placement, Indeed. Just check online. There are loads of places you'll find. Another thing I would like to say is use the employability team can help you with so much. So it's okay if you're not sure what you want to do, just reach out to them and say, I want experience, I want to go into the industry, but I don't know what I want to do, and they'll help you from there onwards. So that's something I'd say you should do. In terms of once you get a job as an international student, as Jess already said, we have a lot of adaptability because we've come to a whole different country, so different cultures, and so we're used to we have adapted to a whole different culture, because I'm an Indian, but I was born and brought up in Saudi Arabia. So coming to the UK was a very different experience to me. So that was me completely stepping out of my comfort zone. And that helped me in terms of when I was at my workplace, because a workplace is really diverse. You meet so many different kinds of people. So the skill that you have, you being able to adapt really quickly, does help you. Um, so don't be afraid to just try, just step out of your comfort zone and apply for something. Um, Another thing is LinkedIn, because before coming here, I didn't have a LinkedIn account. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. But once you come here, LinkedIn helps you network so much. I started out with nothing, but in just 1 year, I've already made 250 plus connections. So LinkedIn, just I'm guessing, has already done a whole session on that. So make sure you do have a LinkedIn account, because I that's not something a lot of international students think about. So LinkedIn helps a lot. And networking. So the School of Management does a lot of networking events. So I would say keep your eye out on that. So a part of your employability module is a networking event. I'm not sure if they have it this year.
Yeah, we've got a virtual version, so yeah.
Yeah. So go there, speak to as many people as you can, and it's just about building links. And even if it's a field you're not interested in, it's never harm to know someone that's in that field. So networking is a very important skill, I'd say. Um, yeah, and make sure you use the employability team, because in terms of you can, so when you're making your CV, they'll help you change it over and over again, whatever they think is not. So uh, they'll help you build your CV. So don't be scared to go to them over and over again, because they're happy to help you. Because I know I did it. I keep going, asking for stuff, and don't be scared, because they will happily help you. Yeah, and I'd say another thing is, say you do get an interview with a potential employer, don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to ask about potential things you could do. Because I know someone that got a job and then asked them if there was anything extra he could do, or he could go to a whole different country. So he split his placement into 6 months. So the first 6 months he did in the UK, and the second 6 months he went to Australia. So don't be afraid to ask questions, because it never really hurts. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of my placement, I worked at Media Suite, and my placement it had a lot of aspects. So I did a lot of administration jobs. I did filming, I did video editing, and there was marketing involved as well. In terms of filming and video editing, I had no experience in it whatsoever. And when I did get my interview, I said, I have no experience in this field, but I'm willing to learn. So one thing I'd say employers look forward to is someone that's eager to learn. So be open-minded, and you need to assure them that you want to learn new things. So even if it's something you have no experience in, just the fact that you're eager to learn is something that I think employers do see. Uh, they think it is a very good skill to have. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Saf. I think that was a really nice sort of overview of your experience, and some really good tips there. If anybody does have any questions for Safa, just pop them in the chat, or feel free to ask them by turning your microphone on. I just want to check if Neo is here. I don't think he is. We were going to have another student, but I don't think he's here, so we'll leave it at that for now. I just wanted to mention that we have got a whole department that is sort of based around visa queries and stuff like that. So if you are not sure about sort of sponsoring, or if you're not sure about what visa you need for kind of working, we have a department called International at Campus Life. Hannah's put a link into the chat. So you can go and speak to them with any visa queries that you have, so that's quite useful. So yeah, I think that is it from us. The main message is sort of start thinking about this early, be prepared. As Safa said, you can come and see us with your CVs and application as many times as you want. Kind of understand the realities of being an international student and finding those companies that do sort of sponsor, and have a backup plan as well. If you do want to book an appointment, we'll put the link in the chat as well. If anybody has any questions, let us know. But I think that is it from us. Okay, so we have got a few questions. Is there any temporary agencies in Swansea? Because I would like to work, but also to visit the country. Yeah, there are sort of temp agencies, recruitment agencies, if you are looking to work kind of around different places. We can direct you in their direction. Definitely join our Facebook group and our Instagram to kind of keep updated with vacancies as well. Is it required to have a national insurance number to apply for a part-time job? I think the answer is yes, but I would definitely speak to International at Campus Life for that, for the definite answer. CV examples, yeah, absolutely. We have got some of those on our Canvas Employability Hub pages, but if you email somcareers@swansea.ac.uk, we can send you some examples of CVs through, and we can go over your CV as well. Any other questions? Okay, now we'll sort of stick around, so if you do have any, feel free to put them on the chat. Big thank you to everyone that's attended today. I'll just sort of reiterate, if you want to get in touch, just email somcareers@swansea.ac.uk, and we look forward to meeting you as the term goes on. Thank you. I'll just answer this question from Darnus. Are there any websites you would recommend to look for a part-time job? Yes, so there's actually a very, very useful Twitter feed called Swansea JCP, @Swansea JCP. So it's the job centre in Swansea. So they actually constantly post part-time jobs in Swansea. So if you search for their Twitter feed, that's actually a really, really good resource. I'll see if I've actually got the link here, so I'll put that in the chat. Yeah, so if you follow that link, that will take you to that. Alternatively, obviously, be COVID aware, but you can go into places with your CV, or speak to the manager if you're living in an area where there are sort of shops, restaurants, that kind of thing. It's absolutely fine for you to go and have a chat with somebody there and ask them about opportunities that are coming up. Okay, so yeah, so lots of sort of online training opportunities. So there's a website called My Future, where you can do lots of sort of training courses. There's LinkedIn Learning, which is a really good one as well. There's courses in sort of like Excel, team working, leadership, all sorts of things that you can add to your CV. Lots of companies have also started doing virtual internships. So you don't have to do sort of in-person internships. So over the summer, there's a company called Bright Network that I recommend that you all sort of sign up to, who offer lots of sort of virtual internships with a range of different companies. If there is a company that you're potentially interested in working with, say locally, it may be that you message them via LinkedIn and ask them if there are any opportunities to work sort of remotely. Obviously, companies are adapting to this way of working, so it's more likely now that there are going to be more opportunities for you to work remotely rather than in person. So it's always worth asking the question. With the link, I will find it and post it on the chat, so 2 seconds, but if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. No worries. It was Future Learn, not My Future, sorry. But I put the link in the chat. Okay, I think we'll end it there. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you soon.